Alright, hey, what's up guys? I know I just made a video kind of bashing the Forsaken DLC of Destiny 2, but now I kind of want to talk about one of the things that I'm really excited about for the DLC, and that would be the bow. Like, this thing is like really sticking out to me, guys. I'm really hyped for it. I honestly haven't played a game. One of the reasons I'm super excited about it is that I honestly haven't played a game in a long time where like a first-person shooter that has utilized a bow. The last one that like really sticks out in my memory is Crysis 3. I don't know if like any of you guys have played it or how many of you have played it, but I thought it was a really great game. It's actually probably one of my favorite as far as like single player experiences goes. It's probably like one of my favorite games. And the like big thing that stuck out about it was the bow. Like, the bow is super fun to use. I would always like find myself, because there were options obviously to use like normal like automatic weapons and stuff like that, but I always kind of gravitated towards the bow because it just felt like they did a really good job in Crysis of making it feel super satisfying to use the bow. And then there were so many ways to like strategically use it in a different way, because there were like normal like arrowheads, but then there were like customizable, well, not customizable, but there were like different arrowheads you could put on, like explosive ones, and then ones for they were like had electricity in them, and then you could like shoot the water and like electrocute guys. I guess I'm kind of like straying away from the point, but anyways, like the Crysis 3 bow was like one that like I really enjoyed using, and I think that the feel was like one of the biggest things that made it fun to use. And actually, okay, before I talk about the Destiny thing, I want to go, so there, you could use it in multiplayer in Crysis 3 as well, which also stuck out. And like, the bow never felt overpowered, and it never felt like underpowered. Like, it always felt super rewarding to use it, because like it was so dope when you'd hit like a headshot like with the bow, or like you could hit like explosive like barrels or something like that. I don't know. The bow is always like super satisfying. I guess I keep repeating that, of like how satisfying it was. Can't speak anymore. In both PvE and PvP in Crysis 3. Now I'm using MMO terms, but now going on to Destiny. So they just have announced this bow, and they showed off this like one exotic bow. There was an arc bow a lot, and it looked like it wasn't a heavy, it looked like a secondary weapon. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think it's a secondary weapon, not a heavy weapon, which is kind of cool. I think they also were saying they might do kinetic bows as well, which is like you can use in your primary slot, which I would really love to see, because I feel like once I get my hands on this DLC, this expansion, then I'm going to be using the bow a lot. And I think that, like I kept saying or talking about in Crysis, how it felt really good and felt really satisfying to use. I think that the guys over at Bungie are going to do the same job, if not even an even better job at doing that. Obviously, because like that's something Bungie is just generally really good at, as we've seen both in all the Halo games. But even looking back at Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, I always felt, and I feel like a lot of people have felt this as well, is like Bungie did a really good job of making everything feel really powerful and rewarding. So I keep on like saying that in the video, but repeating that in the video, but I think Bungie did a really good job in that in both Destiny 1 and 2. Like the shotguns, like the fusion rifles felt super sweet, and the supers, right? The supers feel like you just feel so powerful, and some of that power isn't actually there, but it just, something about it, I don't know how to describe it, you guys probably know what I'm talking about, is that it just feels super strong. And I think that, you know, that wasn't just like a one-time thing that happened with Bungie with Destiny 1, or like a coincidence or anything like that. I think it's something that they're going to continue to do well, and they've kind of really figured out. And so I think that the bow is going to feel really satisfying to use and feel really powerful, which is awesome, and I'm really excited about that. So that's like the main kind of thing that about the bow that I'm kind of satisfied about, or like not satisfied, but I'm really excited about. Again, in my last video I talked about kind of overhyping and stuff like that, but after they have obviously released some gameplay of the bow, and I think it looks like it's going to be really fun to use. And I hope that they don't just have one, no, they'll probably just have one exotic bow, but it'd be really cool to see like a bunch of different variations, and like I'd be interested to see how different each of the bows are from each other, and how like what the kind of perks on them are. Like even looking at like a legendary bow, for example, the perks on the legendary bow, there's not going to be like perks you can carry over from like guns, like actual guns. Like for example, there's like reload speed faster or something like that. I don't know. I can't. I'm kind of blanking on like a good example to give you guys right now. But I feel like a lot of the perks that they've developed for like automatic guns aren't necessarily going to be able to be transferred over to a bow, for example. So it'd be interesting to see if they're going to, you know, manipulate those perks and like make them very similar on the bow, but just slightly different, like more tuned for the bow, or if they're going to do like a ton of like totally new perks. They haven't talked like about that at all, so that's something, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how that ends up panning out. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of just my 2 cents on the bow, guys. It's one of the things that I'm really excited about in Forsaken. I hope, obviously, it does really, or, you know, the bow does turn out to be super fun to use. I think, like, everyone's going to be using it when Forsaken first comes out, which is going to be interesting, but in, like, Crucible and stuff like that. We'll see, guys. We'll see how it goes. That wraps it up for this video. Just want to remind you to subscribe if you're interested in more Destiny 2. If you're new and you're interested in more Destiny 2 kind of analysis and videos like this one. I hope you guys do have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and peace out, everybody.